your girl Shatanya, and if you clicked on this link, that means you want to know the secrets to my jerk barbecue chicken. Now join me on this journey as I combine my love for media and my love for cooking and create something amazing. Keep watching. It's Shat's Kitchen. But before we get into the video, I need to answer 2 of your questions. Now the first question is from bosslady_876, and you asked, how did you learn to cook? Definitely learned from my grandma. Was it how? No, you said where did you learn to cook? My bad. So I learned to cook from my grandma. I grew up in Walkerswood, Jamaica from I was of course when I was born. You know, she caters and she cooked for the prisoners, for the government. Me and my cousins, we all had to help out around the house, and we had to learn to cook. So I was cooking literally from the idea for real. I definitely learned a lot from my mom. Moved to the US when I was 19 years old. I'm 23 right now, and so being around her and seeing how different her cooking style, so I learned a few things from my mom as well as okay guys, so now we're going to begin seasoning our chicken. Mine is already cut up and cleaned and washed in vinegar. So this is the complete seasoning. You're gonna go ahead and sprinkle that on and around your chicken. I like to do each chicken piece by piece so that it is evenly distributed all around. You don't want when you start massaging your chicken that you realize you didn't have enough complete in it, and so some part of it is well seasoned and some part isn't. Alright, once you're finished that, you want to add the garlic powder, and you want to do a very similar technique with this. You don't have to go as intensive as I do. I just like to ensure that my chicken is covered, and I'm going to do the same with the pepper. That's the black pepper, but not too much, just enough that suits you. This is the Reggae country style meat seasoning, just a very small amount, and the same with the garlic and scallion and allspice mix. I actually did not put this in the last video, but you can add that. It's not necessary, but you know, it's just a kick. You want to add some chicken seasoning, but not too much of this because it can be salty, and we don't want salty jerk seasoning. Well, salty jerk chicken, my bad. And now you're gonna massage everything. Now as I'm looking at my chicken wing, I realized that it's a little bit too white, and that is where the soy sauce comes in. So you're gonna go ahead and put your soy sauce or mushroom sauce, whichever one you chose, and you're gonna sprinkle some on there. You don't want to put too much. You don't want your chicken to be too dark. You're going to sprinkle some nutmeg, some cinnamon powder, and you're not baking anything dessert-like, so you don't want to put too much. Add some cayenne powder to that as well for extra spice, and you're going to massage the chicken. Woo! This is actually my favorite part, guys. I love massaging the chicken. So you make sure that everything is well covered and well seasoned. Now what I'm doing here is actually tasting the chicken. I like to taste it raw, that way I can have an idea of if my chicken is actually well seasoned, or if I need to add anything else, or if it's too salty and I need to cut back on something. Now we're going to add the red pepper flakes as well as the pimento seeds, and now you're going to beat your pimento seeds. So you put them in a napkin, something of that sort, or a dish towel, and you want to get a hammer or a bottle, and you're going to hit it until it's completely crushed like this, and then you're gonna sprinkle it over the chicken. I prefer it crushed. You can put it in whole, but that's just my personal preference. And then you massage all that in. Once you get done with that, you want to go ahead and grab your jerk seasoning, and here you're going to get, I normally just use a full spoon. That's a tablespoon, and massage it in. You want to get it underneath the skin of the chicken, and I do suggest cooking your chicken with the skin on because it helps to lock the moisture in your chicken. It does not let your chicken dry out too fast, so you want to keep the skin on some, if not most, parts of your chicken. We're gonna gritter some garlic into this. I actually use 2 cloves, and we're gonna cut up some onion as well. And again, this too is just how much you want. This is to your personal preference. You're gonna rub it in. You could actually use half of an onion or a quarter of an onion in here. And I'm gonna taste again, because now that you add the jerk seasoning, you want to make sure it's not salty, because the jerk seasoning can be salty, guys. And here you see I have the yellow peppers cut up. This step is just up to you. In regards to if you want your chicken to be too hot, if you want it to be mild. I love my jerk barbecue or jerk chicken really spicy, so I put a whole pepper in there. And now we're gonna let this marinate, and while it marinates, I'm gonna answer some questions.
Okay, so question 2 comes from Rattlers United, and he asked, are you mailing plates? If so, how many per person? This is actually a very funny question, but unfortunately, no, I cannot mail any plates. If I mail the food, it's gonna spoil. But this one comes from Akita Daily. Hi, Akita. And the question is, do you need people to taste the food for you? Actually, I always love cooking for people, so I'm always open to people tasting my food. I love critiques, constructive critiques.
Okay guys, so I actually missed a step right here. You're really supposed to put the butter in the bottom of that pan and let it sit in the oven for like 2 minutes until it's melted, and then add the chicken, but I missed that step because I was moving too fast. So I'm doing the butter thing afterwards. I put the butter in the 4 corners and the center, then I'm gonna add some complete just to ensure that my chicken is still well seasoned after the overnight in the fridge. I'm just gonna stir that up, cover it up with some foil paper, and put it in the oven for 45 minutes at 450 degrees.
Okay, hey guys, let's move on to the next question real quick. Actually, the next 2 questions. So the first one comes from Essayance_the_future, and the question is, what is the main ingredients in jerk? The main ingredients, of course, would have to be peppers. So Scotch bonnet peppers, and then different spices such as thyme, scallion, nutmeg, etc. Jamsquad.ent, Jam Squad Entertainment. It says, what kind of jerk seasoning do you use, and what's your favorite barbecue sauce? I love that question. No, I love that question because if you don't know, there are multiple types of jerk seasonings. So like when I was back home in Jamaica, we used to use the Walkerswood jerk seasoning, or my grandma used to go to St. Mary Market in Port Maria, and she used to get this powdered jerk seasoning, and it was actually really good. So it was dried, it was just like as I said, powdered seasoning. But my number 1 favorite is the Walkerswood jerk seasoning, and that's the one that I had told you guys to get to cook with. And then my favorite barbecue sauce is definitely the Kraft's brand barbecue sauce, and I love sweet and spicy or hot and spicy, and sometimes the brown sugar I use mostly if I'm just barbecuing though, but I definitely, Kraft's is my number 1 go-to barbecue sauce.
Okay guys, so right here I actually thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So right here I added the barbecue sauce, the ketchup, some complete, a dash of garlic powder, a little nutmeg, and a little cinnamon. Not too much of those because you don't want to overdo it. And then I also added the jerk seasoning. I added a little bit of water in that because you don't want the consistency to be too liquidy or too thick. Right here, as you can see, mine is a little bit too liquidy, so I'm going in and adding some more barbecue sauce and ketchup in mine. And you don't want to do too much of either one because ketchup can be too tardy, and it just gives a really strong flavor that you don't necessarily want in there. And then finally, you can't forget the pancake syrup. That is my favorite thing in my jerk, barbecue sauce. Many people, when they saw the ingredients, they were like, I really want to see what you do with this pancake syrup. So here you guys have it. You mix this up until it has a really good consistency for the chicken, and you just let it sit there until the chicken is cooked and ready to go, guys. Now that's me adding some more jerk sauce. Once I tasted it, I realized that it needed to be a little bit more spicy, so I added some more jerk sauce to that. And that's the best part about it, guys, is that you want to cook to your taste. Me telling you how much to use based on my taste isn't going to help you one bit.
Okay guys, as you can see, I pinned my hair up because I do not want any loose hair getting in the food or whatnot. But as I said before, after I put the chicken in an aluminum pan, I did put it in the oven for at 450 degrees for 45 minutes. Now normally when I'm cooking chicken, I normally start out at 45 minutes and then I go in and check the chicken to see how far along it has come. That way I'll know how much additional time to add on. So that's what we're about to do right now.
guys, so as you can see, some of the chicken is indeed already done cooking. Some parts can stay in a little bit longer, so we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven for like 15 more minutes, 20 more minutes, uncovered. So we're not gonna put the foil paper back on it, and then we're going to take it out to coat it in the barbecue sauce. All this excess water you see around the chicken right here, we're gonna actually pour it out. Okay, let's get to it.
And we're gonna answer the following questions. This one comes from Akita Daily. Hi Akita. And the question is, do you need people to taste the food for you? Actually, I always love cooking for people, so I'm always open to people tasting my food. I love critiques, constructive criticisms. I was telling a friend recently that I found that the people with the most negative remarks are the people who I think can't cook very well. So if you know and people have told you that you are a very great cook, then I'm open to, you know, cooking you a plate so you can taste it yourself and let me know, you know, what you think and how it can improve, because I'm always open for suggestions. The next question comes from It's Steph, ITZ_STEFF_. The question is, what makes Jamaican style jerk chicken special than the rest? That's a good question. Jamaican style jerk chicken. First of all, I'm gonna say it's not Jamaican style jerk chicken, because in my opinion, jerk comes from Jamaica. Now, if you're asking what makes it different, as in if a Jamaican cook it versus someone who's not a native of the island, then I think it has to do with, because it's native to our island and our ancestors, you know, our family. For example, my grandma and my uncle used to really cook jerk a lot in the backyard, like on wood fire. And so because you grow up with the rawness of how it's supposed to smell and how it's supposed to taste, it's different from actually going somewhere and somebody just read the ingredients online and just try to actually, you know, replicate the dish. Okay, so I am here to cover the last two questions that were asked today. The first one comes from Zion Lux. And the question is, what's your favorite dish and how far do you plan on taking your cooking skills? My favorite dish is curry chicken and white rice. The next half is, how far do you plan on taking your cooking skills? I don't know. That's a good question. And I've gotten this question a lot of times. When I was professionally, right now we're gonna stick to the channel and then see what happens from there. All right, we're just gonna go with the flow. All right. Okay guys, we're gonna wrap it up with the last question, which I thought was hilarious. I saw it and I cracked up. It comes from Pevin_the_rebel, and the question asks, if a gang of jerk chickens and a gang of curry chickens were about to fight, who would win? And for that question, I'm gonna ask you guys to drop the answer in the comments below and tell me, who would you think? So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to Shaq's Kitchen and watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And drop in the comments below, who would have won that fight? Would it be the jerk chicken or the curry chicken? I personally don't know, but I look forward to your answers. Tune in next time on Shaq's Kitchen. It's been real, guys.